So, what do I think? As of May 5th, 2024, this is my prediction 6 months before Election Day.
This is the final battle. With you at my side, we will demolish the deep state. We will expel the warmongers from our government. We will drive out the globalists. We will cast out the communists, Marxists, and fascists. We will throw off the sick political class that hates our country. We will rout the fake news media, and we will liberate America from these villains once and for all.
The 2024 presidential election is now just a mere 6 months away, half a year until America decides its future. Will it be a hopeful America First future of prosperity and greatness, or will we continue down this path of a nation in decline? 2024 will be one of the most wild and important elections of our lifetimes. So let's check in on the state of the race for president. America has not been this divided at any time since the American Civil War. Our nation is so polarized, and this election will be extremely contentious. To fully understand the election, we need to go over all of the candidates, starting off with the incumbent, President Joe Biden. Biden's administration is failing, yet they're holding on to power by whatever means necessary. They've weaponized the Justice Department against President Trump and his supporters, pro-lifers, and even traditional Catholics. Yet this has not caused discontent with Biden's base. No, Biden's base is mad at something else. Where Biden is losing support is with the left wing of the Democrat Party base. On college campuses across America, violent protests are erupting against Biden's handling of the war in the Middle East. Muslim Americans and many far left-wing allies have labeled Joe Biden as Genocide Joe, and they blame him for the ruthless bombing of Gaza by the Israeli government. They demand President Biden call for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza, something President Biden is completely unwilling to do. Yet this tactic has not helped Biden win supporters from the other side of the war either, win supporters of Israel. They're demanding Biden send more money and more military aid to Israel in their war to wipe out Hamas. Supporters of both sides of this war have completely abandoned Biden, completely fracturing the Democrat Party coalition, which Biden needs to win, only 6 months out from Election Day. Things are not looking good for Biden. He will need to choose a side and appease that side in order to attempt to rebuild his fractured coalition ahead of November. To Biden's left, Cornel West has capitalized on Biden's bleeding of support from the Muslim community. He has come out as a staunch supporter of Palestine and called for a ceasefire immediately, the only presidential candidate to do so. While Cornel West may have no path to the presidency, it will be interesting to see whether Muslim Americans come out to vote for him or if they just stay home in November. West is also campaigning as a socialist and a key figure within the BLM movement. His running mate is a black Muslim woman who co-founded the LA chapter of BLM. Right now, they're polling at 2%, ahead of Jill Stein, the Green Party candidate. Jill Stein and the Green Party are also in a precarious situation in 2024. Americans are even more polarized today than they were in 2016, the last time Jill Stein ran for president. At the same time, liberal Americans have so many options in the 2024 election. While some progressives who are abandoning Biden are moving to Jill Stein, others are moving to Cornel West, and many others are moving to RFK Jr. Since RFK Jr.'s career is as an environmental lawyer, he has made green policy a key component of his campaign. Stein is running on the Green Party ticket, so the environment is supposed to be her issue, her area of focus. Without it, she doesn't have anything to set herself apart. Luckily for her, RFK is unpalatable to many Green New Deal supporting progressives because of RFK's stances on the vaccine, but more importantly, because he has a very different outlook on environmental issues. He does not support the Green New Deal as it has been proposed. He has more pragmatic solutions to solving the climate crisis. Either way, Stein, who likely cost Hillary Clinton the presidency in 2016 by siphoning just 1% of Democrat votes away from Clinton, is yet again polling at 1% in 2024. So Biden is losing a combined 3% of Democrat leaning voters to left wing spoiler candidates in Cornel West and Jill Stein. But that is not the main contender for a spoiler for Joe Biden. That honor would go to Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who is running as a third way populist on a platform that mixes traditionally Republican and Democrat ideas alongside issues that neither party typically touches. While it is clear to anyone who is paying significant attention that RFK is a liberal Democrat and that his campaign platform is more in line with Bernie Sanders than Donald Trump, RFK's messaging has gotten him support from many Republicans in addition to Kennedy Democrats. RFK is running first and foremost on COVID 19. He hates how COVID was handled by both Trump and Biden, and this has gotten him the support of many die-hard DeSantis supporters who have professed they will never vote for Donald Trump. So be it. Better to go vote for RFK Jr. than Joe Biden. RFK is also running on a platform of ending the chronic disease epidemic, ending forever wars, and ending corporate capture of government agencies. Those are all positions that are enticing to Republicans and libertarians. But that's not the whole story of RFK Jr. At the same time as holding these moderately conservative positions, RFK has also stated that he would codify Roe v. Wade back into law, making him staunchly pro choice. He wants to expand the AmeriCorps, a domestic version of the Peace Corps, in order to focus on urban and green renewal projects. He has supported reparations for Black Americans, police and prison reform to soften our laws, as well as student loan debt forgiveness. He also wants to raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour federally, killing off small local businesses. And he wants to create free and universal childcare. When asked how he would pay for all these wild ideas, he simply says that he would gut the military budget at a time when Biden has already completely depleted our military and the world faces absolute chaos. What a plan. Luckily, RFK Jr. is only polling at around 10% nationally and has almost no chance of becoming president. The only thing he will affect is whether he spoils the election more for Trump or more for Biden. We'll have to wait and see on that. Lastly, we have President Donald J. Trump. Unfortunately, Trump has had a lot of his time wasted on court cases due to the weaponization of our Justice Department against the former president. But that hasn't been enough to keep him away from campaigning. He's still holding rallies, sometimes multiple in a day, in different states. His energy shows no bounds. Most polls have him up in almost every single major swing state. He's now even expanding his campaign efforts to 2 new states, Minnesota and Virginia, where polls show he has an actual competitive chance at winning. And all the extra time he's been spending in New York due to these court cases have allowed him to do some informal campaigning in his hometown. The amount of support he's received in deep blue New York City has just been fascinating to watch. Trump has even teased the idea of holding a rally in downtown New York City at Madison Square Garden. He says he's not taking New York and New Jersey off the table and will do some campaigning in those states, even if they are a long shot to get in November. With all the third parties running, there's no telling what is truly possible this November. Here is where the RCP polling average has put the state of the race for president 6 months out from Election Day. Trump is leading with 42% support, Biden with 39, Kennedy with 11, West with 2, and Stein with 1.5. It is important to note that these polls have not included the Libertarian Party, as they still do not have a candidate and have been fairly irrelevant during this election cycle. RFK Jr. has shown some interest in trying to win over the Libertarian nomination at their convention, and Trump has announced that he will address their convention in order to make a case to libertarian voters this summer. But the truth is, when you look at that polling, Trump wins in a 5-way race. He wins in a 2-way race as well. This election has seen the largest number of notable third-party candidates in most of our lifetimes, a 6-way race if libertarians put up a candidate of their own. Kennedy has shown the highest support out of any third-party candidate since Ross Perot in 1996, and if he were to somehow win any electoral votes, he would be the first third-party candidate to do so since George Wallace in 1968, the election where his father attempted to run for president but was assassinated after winning the California Democratic primary. So what do I think? As of May 5th, 2024, this is my prediction, 6 months before Election Day. Trump will rebuild his 2016 map, flipping back the Rust Belt and picking up Minnesota in the process. He will narrowly flip back Georgia and Arizona, which he didn't get in 2020, and he will pick up Nevada, bringing his total to 322 electoral votes to Biden's 216. Kennedy getting 0. While New York, New Jersey, and Virginia may be closer than normal, I don't see him picking up those states in November as of now. Things are subject to change closer to Election Day, but that is my prediction 6 months from Election Day. The math is really not favoring Joe Biden as of now. He is down in every swing state, while third parties pick off more votes from both his left wing and his moderate supporters. Both Jews and Muslims are more likely to stay home than to go vote for Biden, and he's even losing support with the black community. If something unpredictable happens and Biden either dies or resigns due to a medical emergency, then we're looking at a very different map. A map where RFK Jr. suddenly may become viable in some states, depending on what candidate Democrats put up to replace Joe Biden. Trump would destroy a Kamala Harris-led ticket. And if some insane scenario happens where no candidate gets 270 electoral votes because RFK wins a state, or Cornel West wins a single delegate, or the election is just so close and there's a faithless elector that refuses to vote for Trump or the Democrat, then it is still very likely that Trump would win the contingent election in the House, where each state delegation only gets 1 vote. That would be the first time such an election would happen since 1824, when Andrew Jackson faced off against John Quincy Adams. But anything is possible, even something that hasn't happened in 200 years. Regardless, in a fair election, Trump is set up for victory in November. In a fair election. But do not get overconfident. Do not get complacent. Do not underestimate the Biden campaign. They have over $2 billion in their war chest. They have the media, the Justice Department, the might of the federal government, and the Uniparty on their side. They have the power and influence of the globalist elite. Trump just has us. He has you. So we have to play like we're down by 3 points in every single state. Campaign, phone bank, door knock, and get out the vote. Make sure you go and vote yourself, and vote early in person if you can. Drive people to the polling place and get them to go bank their vote. Volunteer on Election Day if you can. Make sure no ballot shenanigans are going on at your local polling place. These stakes have never been so high. We need to win. So put in the work and let's make America great again. America first. Thank you so much for watching that video on the race for president in 2024. I'm going to try and do more of these check-in videos so we can stay up to date on the election as Election Day approaches. To make sure you don't miss a thing, hit that subscribe button, leave a like, and share the video with a friend. I'll see you in the next one. Take care, and God bless.